Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Wales of Wall Street. Got a multitude of videos to smash out this evening. Guys, hope you're doing fantastically well wherever you are around the world. Today's topic, Solve, which is SolveCare, the company. For those that don't know, go and check out our intro video, but essentially this is around tokenomics of healthcare. Absolutely incredible. Of course, we're moving into a very digital era of pretty much everything really, but in terms of the medical sphere, more and more people are utilizing the digital formats of apps and the ability to talk to practitioners and doctors wherever you are in the world via your smartphone and very flexible timing, with essentially utilization of 24/7 medical care. Now, of course, most of us rely on the public health systems of our own countries. This I feel is switching. I know there's a multitude of things going on, particularly here in the UK with the Public Health of England, a load of infrastructure being in place with the likes of Serco, for example. There's lots of things going on in the background that I know of. And do ask the question, guys, why on earth did we have a digital minister taking control of our health system? Ask yourselves that. And I believe fully it's about the transition of digital momentum. More and more people who are not necessarily against or not particularly interested in using an online application of like a mobile app, for example, to obtain medical care. And 9 times out of 10, people went to the doctor for reasons they didn't really need to. It could have been done over a phone call or something like this. And of course, more time is given to the doctors to really help patients that really need the help. Of course, like if you're uncertain, of course, you do go and physically get examined and things. This is not obviously healthcare advice or anything like that, but it's no surprise that because of, especially after last year, conveniently, more and more people are going down the digital route, and especially private companies who are operating systems now where they offer healthcare service, but also the ability for digital application. That's what SolveCare is essentially about. It's about two elements. One, the tokenization of healthcare and transactional aspect, but also the solution in regards to being a provider of healthcare through various mechanisms. And someone made a really good point a few videos back when we did the last Solve and Healthcare one. They were in a remote area in New Zealand, and they said it's very difficult. It's like sometimes a 2 or 3 hour journey to the local healthcare center. Now, this kind of application and this kind of aspect of tokenomics of picking up with transportation and paying for healthcare through tokenization is really opening up and removing the barriers that a lot of people around the world have had, and also giving everyone a level playing field. I always believed, like I was, if you're in a privileged position, unfortunately I have been over the years, of private healthcare being paid for and everything through work. Some people are not. And I remember going to private health institutions here in the UK when I've had things like fractured arms and stuff. I was seen within 24 hours, and I just went around and people were just sipping tea and everyone's coming around with waitresses and stuff like, would you like another drink? And I thought, this is actually quite disgusting that we're sort of prevailing in this like 2-tier society. Why isn't everyone getting this level of support? And don't get me wrong, I understand the economy and the way the world is, I'm not stupid, but morally it questions my thought process towards the world. I feel things are weird, and that's why I'm invested in blockchain. I'm invested massively in projects like this. Sometimes projects don't come into fruition, but I'm invested in the philosophy behind what these are trying to achieve, and that is a fairer world, a more accessible world, and more level playing world. I feel everyone should have an equal opportunity and equal sustainability. Of course, there's an argument to say some people don't work or this, that, and the other. Obviously not necessarily for medical reasons, but laziness and stuff. And I understand that aspect, but for general population who work very hard and want to be part of a system that is equal, this, in my opinion, really shouts out positive volume. So just something to think about, really. Sometimes you can think about investments in a moral way as well. But let's talk about a few top tier topics here for SolveCare before we go into the chart. I won't make this a massive long video like I did with San yesterday. Got a couple of complaints for talking too much. How dare you? But anyway, a couple of things. AIBC Summit, which is taking place this week, I believe. Started today, but that apparently is about basically everyone having nice dinners and drinks by the looks of it. The real start of the event is tomorrow. And I really like this. So Solve do have an aspect of this. They've got a moderator in there, but as well as in the section of blockchain regulation, we have here, I believe, at 5:10. So Pradeep Goel, hopefully I've said that correctly, apologies if not, CEO of SolveCare, having a bit of a networking session, or certainly a panel session here with some really good other projects here around the world, not necessarily all in blockchain and crypto, but very much around the regulation and identification regulation. Now this is a really important topic because you've got a lot of topics around DID. You're going to see this terminology a lot more. So decentralized or digital identification. This is going to be a really important part of blockchain in general, but especially in the healthcare mentality. You know, who you send or your data to in a healthcare environment, and having your data of healthcare on blockchain, which is quite phenomenal, really. You can think how long it takes sometimes for doctors to send other doctors documentation, when actually it should just be all integrated within one system. All your x-rays, your appointments, all these things in a more automated way, taking cost out of the system, i.e. developing potentially a reduction in taxes and things like this. We've seen a similar application with IOTA, with like plastic cups and stuff. Actually, they did an investigation on how much refuse will be reduced, and thus council's element of cost, and then thus the taxpayers having to pay less money because there's all on an automated system. It's quite revolutionary, really. So they got that going on. They were announced in the top 3 healthcare blockchain projects in this particular website, Blockmanity. Now, take this with a bit of a pinch of salt. Immunify, I'm not entirely sure about. I'm really interested once I read this bit. I'm going to do a bit of research on that. SolveCare obviously on here, and Dentacoin. Now, Dentacoin was one that I was trying to get earlier this year. I had a bit of a faff around trying to get hold of it on various platforms and swap platforms. And I chose not to because deep diving into it, it was very much around offering, it's kind of like BPro with developers. This was really about dentists and stuff, and I can't really see the concept of it just yet, so it might be something I revisit next year, but definitely keep an eye on it. I would recommend adding it to your watch list, whether that's on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap or whatever, just to keep an eye on it. Okay, so I think we've got plenty of time for these kind of projects in the future as things develop, but that was one of the 3 amongst SolveCare, of course, that was chosen in this. So at the end of the day, it's really good that this was selected. But I wanted to also bring together a couple of other projects within healthcare before we jump into the SolveCare market. So MediBlock is definitely of interest for me in the future. They've developed the website a lot better than it was before, for sure. But do keep an eye out for these kind of things, very much around reliability and health data. This is more about the identity aspect, in my opinion, but patient-centered health data ecosystem. So keep an eye on these guys. It's really nice to see more and more projects in the healthcare space, in my opinion. Here we go, DID. Credential verification is obviously a big part of that. Med, if anyone's interested in researching, we'll sort of the website, but currently available on Bittrex and Gate.io. A couple of other ones as well. I think Upbit's fairly popular and reliable, all very good confidence, so that's quite good. And Biopassport, another one that's been on my radar probably since February, March this year, in all honesty, and actually has had some really good moves. I didn't choose to buy it here. It was a big dip. I didn't take advantage of this yet either. We've had some good increase on this one, but this one's available on Bithumb and Bittrex and Coin1 currently. But this is again about the sort of digital passport aspect of health passports. This is a big topic right now in the world, right? But trust me, don't invest in stock market things of like technology of digital identities and passports, in that kind of world. Invest in the blockchain ones, because this is what's taken over, guys, in my opinion. So do keep an eye out for corrections. We might do a video on this one as time goes by, but you're more than welcome, of course. Do anticipate, I think this is Korean. That's one of the other reasons why I was put off slightly, not because it's Korean, but because of it's perhaps not market penetrated yet globally, but it's 100% something I'm categorically interested in and been watching for some time. And it's ranked quite highly in comparison to how many assets there are available. Even MediBlock as well, to be fair, is relatively high. It's already 173. So that's quite interesting, really, about how much volume and investment's already gone into this. So definitely considerations. But back to the topic of SolveCare, I just wanted to do a bit of a recap here on healthcare in general and what SolveCare is trying to achieve in that. But go and check our intro videos, like I said. Let's jump into the chart. By the way, you may have noticed we've got rid of the trim around the edges for now. Let us know what you think about that. Do you like the more window space, if you like, on these, or do you prefer maybe a bit of an outline? Let us know what you think. But guys, currently the price of Solve is floating around 12.5 cents ish. What's happened here? Well, if you weren't involved in our previous videos, we were following the aspect of an announcement with Solve going on a few weeks back now. Everyone's going crazy. Oh my god, it's Amazon. Oh my god, it's this, it's that. And it wasn't anything to do with that at all. It wasn't Apple either. It's very much around ECG and a partnership with Heart Healthcare, basically. And then all of a sudden that news came out and it went meh. Okay, so that was kind of anticipated. We did mention in this video, look, we don't know what the announcement is. If it's a big gigantic announcement, it could see some carry on. But look at that. What was it? I think, just move that text that way, 691% ish gains in 3 or 4 days. It was parabolic. I took massive advantage in trading this one. I was literally anticipating Solve to be so level for such a long time because it's just not ready for fruition yet and adoption, of course, in the real world. But more partnerships come on board, more intake comes in. What I really like about this area is, look, we obviously, even going back here, very static sort of price points around that 8 cent mark. You can see clearly that since that uptake, it's come down a bit for the correction, and we're sort of floating around this 12 cents mark. So we come down up from that 60 cents down to this 12 cent and 12.5. But what I like about this, if you look at the reflection of this, 7.5 cent back here, we haven't gone back down to those levels. And the volumes are massive in this project, right, guys? So you can anticipate very quick turnarounds when big announcements like this or potential announcements come back and forth. And you can see that in the history of this chart. You see it back here, for example, on the 22nd of May. You can see nice big uptakes that we saw in March as well. That's just general organic growth, as well as, of course, the announcements and things. But it's certainly something to really think about moving forward. But I'm invested in this project because I believe in its future. I believe in its what would be the word? It's fundamentals, if you like. But yeah, it's very much on the downward trend right now. But what I really like, and this is where I pull up this area, so we've got a few areas of interest here. So we've got the histogram here showing off the sell-off process, if you like, and you can see there's a gradual development in the decrease of the volume in the selling perspective. Will this tail off completely and start switching to green will remain to be seen, but the MACD is showing it's looking like it's narrowing even more, and we might see a switch over in this coming week, maybe 7 days. The RSI is flowing around 44. I think that's very respectable. I tend to, when I've been doing selling off, I do obviously take incremental values on the way down as well, but I do always have a pocket in there based on an RSI as well. So relative strength index is a good indicator for me on a 2-week basis, in particular for this one on a 14-day. You can change this to 30 days or whatever you want depending on your trading methods, but for me the RSI being around this mark is very healthy and gives me an opportunity to buy in at this area, knowing that I've reduced the risk of it coming down a lot further, and there's more higher risk of it coming up higher. Yeah, not necessarily around partnership announcements and something like that, but general growth of the project as well. So I know where I am basically in the system of the chart in this period of time, as well as looking, of course, in the traditional formats of charts like this. So what we're really identifying right now is obtaining that support level around that 12 cent mark. As I said, the volumes are very low, and it's looking like there's confidence in this project. In a sense, it's probably given a lot of opportunity to people to understand the project more and go, oh wow, actually, yeah, I get there's a pump and thing going on at the moment right now, but actually the fundamental value of this project, say in 5-10 years time, could be substantial. So I would be for sure never selling all my Solve tokens. I would be trading it for sure. It's one of my trading tokens or assets. But for the future and the development of blockchain, the development of healthcare and blockchain, it's really important to me to hold. And there are other ones, of course, like the ones we mentioned, the ones that have been involved in the top 3 announcements kind of thing. Yeah, I'm sure I can do a healthcare video for you guys in the near future. But for now, we're very much trying to obtain this 12-cent mark. If we can do that, I think we could get a small switch over on the MACD, and we can start taking this up, arguably, maybe back up to that 15-cent mark and start testing these higher areas again of 20 cents. There's no reason why not. But let's see how this plays out over the next few days. We'll try and do a Solve update maybe towards the end of the week or over the weekend at least, to see how our reflection or our thought process has occurred around this time. Of course, no one can predict the future, but we can at least have some good indicators here of what we believe may happen based on data and algorithm and everything. But let's see how it goes. But my anticipation is that we might start pushing back up to that 15-cent mark, and it's going to be really interesting if we push up even further to 20. What will happen there? Will we obtain that, take organic growth in the bull market and push this up further, or will we just stabilize until the adoption kicks in? But clearly we've got some target areas now of massive proportion. Very interesting that this area matched this previous area as well, around this 60-cent mark. So clearly massive resistance. Very interesting. It was a very fun one to be trading in that period of time. But guys, let's see how this plays out. Performance wise, on the right hand side, you can see it just tailing off now. So we were in a strong sell mode. We're moving into the neutral mode soon. So very interesting moves in the next week, as I mentioned. 3.5% down on the week, understandably, but it is reducing. 6 months, we're down as well, but that doesn't take a few dips previously also, as well as this big move down as well. So in general, year to date, not massively up, but I believe this is a future token. I will continue to talk about it because I believe in this project and I believe in healthcare blockchain mechanisms as well. Let us know if you're holding Solve in the comments below. But until the next video, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. We'll catch up with you on Solve in a few days' time, and we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.